In this quiz, we're being asked to solve for different variables given a specific equation. So the first question says solve the following equation for d. That means we're going to end up with an expression that looks like d equals. When we examine our formula, we notice there's a fraction on one side and just one variable on the other side. To make this look more familiar, if we put the v over 1, we get two fractions. So if we cross multiply, we then get d equals v bar t. And now we have an expression that is d equals. Our second question is a little more involved. Starting out with the same equation, but now we're looking for t equals. So again, we put that over 1, we cross multiply, and we end up with d equals v bar t. But t is not by itself. It's being multiplied by v. So how we get t to be by itself is to divide both sides by v bar. V bar divided by v bar is 1, so it cancels. And we're left with t equals d over v. Now generally we like to see the thing that's by itself on the left hand, so we would just switch sides like this, t equals d over v. The third equation we're starting out with is a little more complicated equation. In this case, we're looking to solve for a, so we're looking for an expression that is a equals. A is on this side, and it's the product of three different things. So the first thing we can do is to get rid of this 1/2 is multiply both sides by 2. So that gives us 2d equals 2 times 1/2 at squared. Now the 2's cancel on this side, and we're left with 2d equals at squared. We want a by itself, and a is now being multiplied by t squared. So the way to get rid of t squared, since being multiplied, is to divide. We'll divide both sides by t squared. T squared over t squared is 1, so it cancels, and we're left with a equals 2d over t squared. And for form, we like to have the solved variable on the left, like so. Our fourth question works with the same formula as question number 3, and now we're looking for t equals. So just like we did before, we can multiply both sides by 2. So we're left with 2d equals 2 times 1/2 at squared. 2's cancel, 2 over 2 is 1. And so we're left with at squared. We want t by itself, so to these two, since they're being multiplied, the way we get rid of them is to divide both sides by a. A over a is 1, so they cancel. And now we're left with t squared equals 2d over a. Well, the t is not by itself. It's really t times t. So the way we solve that is to take the square root of both sides. So now we are left with t equals the square root of 2d over a. And for best form, we put the solved variable on the left-hand side. T equals the square root of 2d over a. Our last formula is the most complicated. And we're now looking for an expression for u equals. Well, now this equation, we have two things being added on this side. So to get u by itself, since this is being added, we need to subtract. So we subtract 2a delta s from both sides. And that then leaves us with v squared minus 2a delta s equals u squared. And now since u is by itself, except being squared, we just need to take the square root of both sides. And we're left with u equals the square root of v squared minus 2a delta s. And for good form, u equals square root of v squared minus 2a delta s.